Hello everyone, I'm Eszter Vajda. Thanks for joining us and welcome to Hometown Talents and Treasures. Our goal is to introduce you to citizens who in their own unique way contribute to the betterment of society. They could be part of a charitable or a faith-based organization, spend a lifetime giving of themselves, or do small acts of kindness. Regardless, they are all hometown heroes. Our guest is Steve Ives. He is the president and CEO of the Merrimack Valley YMCA. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you for having me.
I want to read you something that the person who nominated you said about you. He's not only a dreamer, but a doer. He's pushing for education on all the daycare, day camps, after-school programs, and is working at getting these youngsters a better education all around.
That's very nice.
So how are you doing that?
How are we doing that? Well, the YMCA is tightly linked with the school system and the school departments in Lawrence and in Andover and in Methuen, and everything we do, all the things we do around child care, around youth programs, camping, summer programs, are all related around helping young people become better educated and fill some of those gaps that sometimes happen with summer learning loss, with achievement gaps, and with early childhood development.
And especially now with the budget falls.
Exactly. So we supplement, I guess is the best way to describe it, the work that the communities do around educating their children, and we make sure in the after-school hours that there's opportunities to enhance and supplement that work, and that also in the summer months that we're helping, and then most importantly that through early childhood education, through our child care programs, that we're helping more and more children be ready for kindergarten, that they've got some reading skills and they're ready to go when the time comes.
So YMCA is not just a fun place to go swimming and exercise and play basketball. It's now evolved into much more.
I like to say it's fun and it's good for you. People really enjoy the Y, and people have great fond memories of their times at summer camp or their times in youth basketball or sports or swimming programs, but being part of a community, being part of something with really important values, strengthening families, strengthening communities is what we're about. So yeah, a lot of times people think of us as a place to go exercise or a place to play games or a place to recreate, and that feels good. There's a whole lot more happening than is immediately relevant and easy to see.
I've heard people use the word fellowship when it comes to the Y.
Right.
As an alternative to going to a religious organization.
Right. Well, I moved a lot growing up. I moved every 5 years. And there was two places that we always settled first. It was our church and our YMCA. Those are the two places that our family found a way to quickly engage with the community, be part of the community. So certainly what happens at the YMCA is people with similar interests find each other. They might be in a class together, they might be working out, training for a marathon together, they might be just having kids in childcare together, but it's a place where people are interrelated and connected in community. And that's the Y's purpose, is to strengthen the foundations of community. And I always like to tell people that the opposite of a strong community is a community where people are isolated. So we try to make sure that through the work that we do, that not only are we teaching skills and helping people to have fun, we're also making sure that the community is knit together in a strong way.
Now, you said that since you were a child, you know, you moved around a lot, but you also, one of your first jobs was at the YMCA as a lifeguard.
Right.
So you've been there for a long time.
Yeah, shortly after
the Y.
Well, shortly after leave, well, actually I stayed with the Y. I started as a part-time lifeguard, and then they found out that I could work with kids and do other kinds of programs. So I was one of those easy targets for coverage on the weekends or for after-school programs where we needed an extra person. So as a sub, I got to be well known, and within 6 or 9 months, I became a full-time staff person at the Portland, Maine YMCA, and I've never left. I started as a lifeguard, was a youth worker, ran youth and family programs, teen programs, programs for teen fathers, camping programs, and then ended up as a executive director of a Y in Biddeford, Maine, where I stayed for 11 years and have been here now for 7 years in the Merrimack Valley.
Besides supplementing some of the shortfalls in the school system, how else have you seen the Y evolve over the past few years?
Well, I would say in the past, if you look back historically, you know, some of the great educational institutions were started by the Y. Northeastern University was a Boston YMCA. Springfield College was started by the YMCA as a training school for YMCA folks. So education and, you know, development of people and training has always been a big part of who we are. It was at Springfield College where James Naismith invented the game of basketball. So it's we've got this deep deep-rooted history of innovation, and that has played itself out in the last 15 or 20 years in the form of childcare. We're one of the leaders in providing opportunities in formal after-school childcare and preschool education. And most recently, probably the best way to describe it is to talk about health innovations. We know that obesity, inactivity in youth, just in our nation in general, is an epidemic. And the Y has nationally taken a very strong stance. We've gone through our brand revitalization, which is only about making sure that we're very clear about the fact that we're here to strengthen the foundations of community for youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. And we're living that every day. We like to say we live our cause, and that we are a cause-driven organization. That's a little different than what we were at one point when we were mostly a community recreation, health and wellness kind of organization. So that's a significant evolution. Nationally, we're connected with schools, we're connected with government around healthy eating initiatives, around innovations when it comes to finding ways to keep people active and healthy. There's a national YMCA diabetes prevention program that our Y was one of the first to pilot, that is taking legs and is becoming a pretty significant intervention, if you will, for folks who are pre-diabetic, they're predisposed or at risk for becoming diabetic. So we're being much more intentional in the work that we do versus what you might have remembered as the time when you came to go swimming and had fun and did some exercise.
I found this fascinating that the YMCA in the Merrimack Valley is the 110th largest out of 965 YMCAs in the country.
Right.
That's pretty amazing.
There's a lot of Ys across the country.
965.
It actually plays out to be about 1,500 branches. If you think of our Y, we have 3 branches that we would consider YMCA branches plus our camp operation. So the Y is pretty wide and broad throughout the United States, and around the world there are 40 million members, and we're in 125 plus countries. So it's a big institution, but the Merrimack Valley Y has been here for a long time. We started in Lawrence and expanded into the camps, and then added the facility in Andover, and then most recently Methuen. When you put that all together, the number of people we serve, total operating budget, puts us in the range of one of the larger Ys in the country. You
said that the Y is in several other countries. I understand you've recently been to Haiti and India with the Y.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So India was the most recent trip. It was several of us from our YMCA went to visit the Mudrai, India YMCA, which is a partner YMCA. We made a connection with them about 5 years ago and have been sending letters back and forth, and we finally had a chance to go see their operation and visit their sites and their locations, their after-school program for slum children, their school for deaf children, the school for mentally challenged children. I'm a believer now, after having been there, that you can't really understand social entrepreneurship until you see it happening in an emerging economy like that. I think there's a lot more down the road for us as far as the kind of connection and interrelationship we'll have with that YMCA. In fact, we've got about 5 different ideas that we're bouncing around. We met with their board while we were there. And
what did you learn?
Strategy. Well, I learned it's not uncommon in the middle of a board meeting for all the power to go out and for the people to have to run outside and start up the generator. That was very interesting. The way that Y operates, interestingly enough, instead of fitness and wellness being the thing that fuels the engine, it's housing, it's residents, it's a tourist location that they're at, so they have a guest house, and it's through those kinds of functions that they generate revenue that helps them to do the other programs that they're doing. So it's a very different approach. I learned that building in India is a lot easier and a lot more dangerous. We walked around one of their sites that was 3/4 done, and OSHA is not relevant.
Would not be happy
in India, but it does make things far simpler and easier going for them. So,
what was the purpose? Why India? Why Haiti?
So when I went to Haiti, that was a family thing, and that was related to our church and the school that I was at. And that was to dig fish ponds as part of the tilapia project. So for me, that trip was about learning about doing something meaningful in another country. So we dug fish ponds side by side with a group of natives and local folks, and then we went and fished a pond to kind of see how that plays out and how it actually impacts the whole concept of teach a village to grow fish, and they'll feed themselves for a long time was the concept around that. And I think that exposed me to those kinds of experiences and made them interesting to me. Then I went back to school. I think I was mentioning to you that I went back to Northeastern for the executive MBA program. It was an international focus, so we traveled to China, to Hong Kong, and we also were in Mexico. So I got exposed to business, and I got exposed to social entrepreneurship and social interventions, if you will, in very different environments. So when I got back, I sort of had the itch from all of that and an interest, and we had this relationship. The relationship just started because someone on our staff team traveled and vacationed in India and met Reverend Suyambu, who's the General Secretary of the Y in Madurai. And we've had this relationship ever since. So this was finally our opportunity to go and spend some time and actually visit all of their sites and see the programs that they're doing.
Where do you see this relationship going?
I think that probably within the next couple of years we'll have some special kind of social entrepreneurship institute that we'll be running here locally, providing opportunities for young people to learn about entrepreneurship in the realm of solving problems, solving social problems in a sustainable way. And that's the beauty of the Y, I think, is that we have this revenue stream that we can produce from those who can afford to pay for our programs that gives us a foundation that we can build a lot of the other work that we do off and our fundraising and the like. So more people understanding that model as a way to intervene, if you will, in social issues locally, I think will be a great contribution that we can make in helping to train young people along those lines. I would love to have an opportunity to work with a group of young people for 6 to 8 months along that, and then have that end with a trip to India to go stay in their new hotel that they're building and see how entrepreneurship, as I said, works in a emerging economy like that.
Where do you see the future of the Y? I mean, obviously, since the 1880s, as you informed me, the Y started in Boston, and it's evolved through the years, going from a sort of a religious-based organization to recreational, and now, as you say, more educational component. Where do you see the Y going in the next few years?
So on a national scale, I think we are going to become more and more a significant player on a national scale when it comes to health and when it comes to education. We just have this unbelievable distribution system, if you will, as far as connection with young people, with all the kids that are in our school-age child care programs and in our preschool programs and our camps and just members in our youth sports and in our swimming programs. We have this unbelievable opportunity in a fun way. I always like to say we bring the fun and then we can sneak in the teaching, that we can have a significant impact on how well we are able to embed the learning that kids have during the school day, in the after-school hours, and on the weekends and in the summer. And I think that that'll have a significant impact on education, if you will, for across the country. On a local level, our Y is going to continue to evolve and innovate, in particular in the health area. We've got some pretty exciting new things happening around what we call active science. So kids are using accelerometers and they're using gadgets and technology to measure their activity, and then that's turning into a science lesson. We had kids the other day we watched. We actually had a visit from the National YMCA. Some folks from the senior level, the Y, the USA, have come to visit our Y because of two reasons. One is this cool intervention we're doing, this cool innovation around active science. But the other is because of the way we've committed to the inner city presence in Lawrence and how we've linked that and are knitting the work we do in Andover and in Methuen and our camps with the importance of making sure we're affecting the most important social issues in that city. So on those two fronts, I think our Y will continue to be innovative. That's what I like to do. That's what our team seems to really get excited about. And I think whoever nominated me alluded to some of the things that are happening as far as we're actually on the ground making things happen. We're dreaming things and we're making things happen, and we continue to dream. I think
she said that about you.
Yes, well, it's us.
And I love your energy and your enthusiasm about the Y.
Thank you.
And
well, it's in my blood.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
That's our show for tonight. Thank you to all the heroes out there for all that you do. Now, if there's someone or an organization you would like to nominate to be featured on Hometown Talents and Treasures, email me at the email address you see on your screen. Remember, it can be anyone. The important thing is that they selflessly donate their talent and time to help others. See you next time.